Was consumed this week by an attack on its Capitol building. The raging coronavirus crisis continued to break records. For the second straight day, the U.S. reported a record number of cases, with more than 278,000 new infections on Saturday. More than 3,600
mutant variant of the virus that's driving the surge. Audrey is taking part in a clinical trial of a vaccine, but she doesn't know whether she's had the active jab or a placebo, and worries whether she's protected.
You get, assigned work, and it's not that bad.
10-year-old Derek Ivels is describing his day in the life of online learning. He is one of many Ontarians working and learning from home, while the province grapples with more than 3,000 new cases of COVID-19 for the sixth straight day.
Alarming news tonight about the coronavirus, devastating at every level. The U.S. reporting more than 371,000 American lives lost, nearly 2 million cases now.
2020 has been one hell of a year, and rightfully so. The protests in the summer, the elections, the fires in California. It just doesn't seem like the U.S. can catch a break. However, none of these events have made a bigger impact on our lives than COVID-19. A virus that would plant its bad RNA self on the world and wouldn't move until a vaccine would come out. This will be a challenge to us humans, more mentally than physically. Now, how would people stay sane and deal with this? Let's find out. Before we talk about how the virus affected millions of people, we need to find the origin. However, identifying the source of the virus is, well, near impossible, as everyone seems to have differing opinions. Was it someone that ate a bat as a midday snack? Did that virus make the 1,000 IQ play and escape the lab? Or is your nan in a tinfoil hat saying that the 5G towers are killing everyone? No one really knows for sure. What we do know is the country of origin. It was first reported in South China. According to a Morning Post, a 55-year-old from Hubei the Hubei province in China may have been the first person to contact this lethal virus. Now, how did this virus affect everyone? Well, people completely overlooked it and just saw the virus as another flu, being very lax on regulations, and the thought of masks was still up in the air as they still weren't mandatory. We would soon learn the hard way when the virus clapped back harder than any of us could have imagined. The virus proved it was no joke, taking thousands of lives in its wake, and is still doing so to this day. Once people realized things weren't looking too great is when regulations came down, and came down hard. People getting laid off from jobs, wearing a mask is mandatory, keeping 6 feet away from one another, staying indoors, making sure to stay clean as possible. With all this coming down, the realization hit people with reports of depression, anxiety, stir crazy, and stress. Humans are biologically social animals. We need interaction. We need the touch of one another. We need to see each other. And when this virus took all that away, home never felt more like solitary confinement. Now, how would we survive all this? Where would the human mind go to cope with the world around it? Now, how do people cope with this? Well, of course, people were spending a vast amount of time indoors and with their families. But instead of trying to kill each other, they found new and creative ways to stay entertained. Some hosted games over video calls. Others looked into diversifying their hobbies, like playing the guitar or learning how to knit, or even helping the economy by starting a small business, or keeping the small business afloat by using the internet. And some people had other ways. Alright, where are we now? Well, a vaccine is being distributed. People have found new and creative ways to cope with this virus, and it all comes down to just waiting out the storm. It's just waiting on that day people can finally get out and are able to smell the sweet oxygen in all of its glory. Not with the mask, not with regulations, just pure air. That will be the day. No, that will be the statement that humanity can overcome any challenge that is presented its way.